My people, my people, my people. That's the catchphrase from our next guest that caught my attention. Welcome back to another episode of Lifestyle of the Broken Creative Podcast. My name is Eric, and today's episode is titled Lifestyle of the Wealthy Guy. My guest is a talented, self-made entrepreneur running a very successful luxury menswear line, Welthē NYC. From custom suits to custom coats, accessories, and shoes, his looks are fresh and classic at the same time. He is as charismatic as the unique prints and patterns he incorporates in his pieces. Please welcome to the show, founder and CEO, Robert Pauley III. Hi, Robert. Thank you so much for joining the show today.
Hey, Eric. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here today.
Let me tell you, I followed your Instagram for years now. It's like all out of admiration of your hustle, passion, and of course the Welthē brand. The looks you create are just like unique, and I feel like they're so powerful and timeless at the same time.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, it's no problem. So how are you today? I feel like you're always on the go. What's a day?
I am.
What's a day in the life of the Welthē guy look like?
Oh, man. A day in the life of the Welthē guy starts pretty early in the morning because I have two dogs, two big dogs.
Yes.
So I'm, either I'm going to wake up or they're going to wake me up. And, my day starts with taking care of my dogs. So walking my dogs, feeding them, having some tea myself.
Yeah.
Kind of catching up on the news and what's going on, and then I get right into my day. So my day consists of either in-person client meetings or virtual meetings. It consists of going to UPS.
Okay.
It consists of communicating with my manufacturers and all of those things, as well as doing social media, right? The social media piece of it is such a big piece, and I have to be present.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. I mean, you're a man of many hats. So as a child, were you always into fashion? Were you always as productive as you are today?
Oh, yes. Yes. So ever since I was a kid, I always loved seeing men in suits. It was such a powerful thing. It was always like, well, who is that? Where's he going? What does he do? Right? He must be someone important.
Yeah.
And a lot of my inspiration came from movies where I would see men, going to work in their suit with their briefcase and going to their corner office. And I was like, that's gonna be me one day. But I've always been a creative person, right? So I've never been just straight corporate, cut and dry. I've always had like a flair to me, like for colors and things like that. And that was like always evident since I was a kid. And 16 years old, I had an internship for a bank. And that was my first time wearing a suit consistently.
And what's that memory for you? How did that make you feel at that moment?
It made me feel like the boss, even though I was far from the boss, right? I was an intern, but the level of respect that I got from people that I didn't know, right? And from people that I did know, just because I had on that suit, I was like, wait a minute. This is this is a powerful thing. And it commands a different kind of respect than you just, dressing with a nice sweater and jeans and shoes and looking clean. It's a whole different respect.
Yeah, a whole new caliber. So I've read that before starting Welthē NYC, you became pretty involved in the financial world. So you were working with companies like JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley. How do you think that prepared you for entrepreneurship?
It 100% prepared me because I did many different jobs within, like the financial space. I did business management jobs.
Okay.
I did project management jobs. I did sales jobs. I did sales finance jobs. I did change management jobs. I did a lot of different jobs during that time. And a lot of the jobs that I had involved a teaching aspect to it. So me teaching someone else something. Okay. All right. So teaching comes naturally to me. Right. Yeah. So even though when I started coming from the finance world, my Instagram and Facebook both only had 160 followers, and they were all people that I knew. Okay. Right? Like I wasn't a big social media person then, but coming into this world, right, the social media world, I was like, wait a minute, this is what you have to do, this is where you have to be. So I just fused the things that I knew I was good at and learned the things that I wasn't good at, right, the social media aspect of it, and married those two together, and now you have what you see. But it was a long road.
Okay, and I'm just gonna skip ahead here a little bit just to like segue, because I feel like you're a very talented photographer and you're excellent at digital marketing. Are those skills that you picked up to help market your business, or have that always been like part of your interest? Have you always been interested in photography and content creation?
I've always been interested in photography, both being behind the camera and in front of it. So people that know me from when I was a teenager, they'll tell you I always had a backpack, and in the backpack were like these professional headshots.
Yes.
And I always carried them around. So that would be like a running joke. And even today, people that know me from that time will send me messages on Facebook and say, I remember when you used to carry the pictures in your backpack. And I used to always say, you always have to, you never know who you're going to run into or who you're going to meet. And I always wanted to be ready for that. But it wasn't until I started my business that I took being behind the camera super seriously. One, because it was a way for me to make money as I built the clothing business. And two, it was just something that I loved. I love lighting. I love the way you can shape light to make people look differently and make scenes look different and all of that stuff. Of course, I love dressing up and dressing people up. So it's just natural to, to have the camera and to use it. So now I don't photograph many people anymore, especially for money. I do it more so for the art of it.
Okay. I respect that. I mean, you're very talented. I think just your social media marketing is next level. You would think that was what you were born to do. And I just think the way that you approach everything with the amount of passion that you have, it just comes off so authentically. Right. It just draws people in. That's what brought me to you, because I saw you on social media and you were like, my people, and I was like, I'm your people.
Right. And that's the beauty of the my people. It's all encompassing, right? It's the community. It's not just Black people, or it's my people. It's people who connect with the Wealthy Guy.
Yeah, I definitely respect you for all that you've built. And I want to know though, what was the experience of starting your company like? Did you find it difficult at first, or was it more of like an awakening now being the boss of your own destiny?
It was definitely difficult because I pretty much started from nothing, right? It started from an idea for myself that I realized that other people wanted. Yeah. So my first product was a top coat with the fur collar, and it's something that for years I had searched for and just couldn't find the right thing. And one day a salesperson in the store that I went into to see if they had a coat like that said, well, why don't you just make it yourself? And I'm like, what do you mean? I just want to buy it. What do you mean make it? Right? Because I was very entrenched in my finance career at the time. But still also feeling like, am I supposed to be here? Okay. And so I got the coat. I took their advice and got the coat made and started wearing it. And from there, people were like, well, where'd you get this coat from? And I'm like, it's something that and at the time, I didn't even say I made it, right? I said, it's something that I put together, because I didn't make, when I first started, I just had, got a top coat and then had the fur put on. So I won't necessarily call me making that, right? But a friend was like, well, I want one. Can you, do one for me? And I'm like, okay. And then from there, it just kind of, more people started asking about it and more people started wanting to buy one. And I was like, wait a minute, I got something here. This is a business, right? Because really businesses are ideas that you have that other people want too, right? So I was like, wait a minute, this is a business. And at the time, I was just like, oh, what am I doing here? Is anyone ever gonna know that I was here counting money for rich people? Like, I was like, no one's gonna care. Like, what is my legacy in the world? And that's what prompted me to say, you know what? I'm going to create that legacy and I'm out of here. And I want to go into this full time, but going into it full time in the springtime selling winter products.
A bold move.
Right, a very, very bold move. So it but like you asked earlier, that finance career and that business management piece of it, right? Because the operational piece of it can't function. It is without the front piece of it can't function without the operational piece. Exactly. Right. And that's what I know is the operational piece. So, being able to use those skills that I had from my finance career to create the operation was invaluable.
Yeah, that sort of sets you up because you already know people want the product.
Right.
Most people, I think, fail because of the business aspect of everything.
Yes.
It's like, how do I figure out these numbers? You're a man made of numbers. So
right.
That's great. So let's just switch it up a little bit. But when someone asks, what is a staple piece everyone should own? What does the Wealthy Guy suggest?
Oh man, I'm gonna go super, super simple and say a Navy suit.
Okay.
Yeah, because whether you're going out on a date or going to an interview or going to work or someone passes away, whatever it is, you can pull out that Navy suit and wear it.
I 100% agree. 100%. That's and you got some fresh suits, so if you get a Wealthy suit in navy blue, you're set.
Right.
So tell me, do you have any resources that you referred to or that you're still referring to when you make changes to your business? So maybe when you're switching from winter to spring or anything like that, how do you navigate?
Oh yeah, so I definitely, right, so one thing, okay, so couple things, right? So the appeal of Welthē NYC is that the wealthy customer is the customer that they're not rich, right? Okay. But they dream of having more.
Yes.
And they understand that clothes can lead them to their goal, right? Of being this man that, is respected, that is, kind of revered for the way that he looks and dresses. And as well as what he's doing career-wise.
Yeah.
So those are the people who resonate like with the brand and actually buy it. And I always tell people, like, rich people aren't the ones that buy from me. They're gonna go to Gucci and whatever, you know, or maybe even not, right? Those are the ones that will go to the Men's Warehouse. But you know,
exactly.
the person who identifies with that guy who sees himself better than he is today is the man that buys Welthē NYC. So, you know, one of the things that I do I am a lover of luxury fashion.
Okay.
Right? A lover of luxury fashion. Since I was a kid, I'm like, ooh, I want this, I want that, you know? So what I do is I look, you know, when the seasons change, I am looking at luxury brands, what they're showing right on the runway. I'm looking at colors. I'm looking at trends. I'm looking at all of those things, as well as kind of my own aesthetic and style and things that I'm drawn to for like what I'm going to do for the next season.
Okay. It's a lot of research.
Oh yeah, 100%. With anything, for it to be great, right, you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you have to be super knowledgeable. And that's one thing that I've always had. I've always been like a cool nerd, if that makes sense. So like with the clothing, yes, the clothing was always like, oh, your fits are fire, but you're like a smart kid. You know? So even with my business, right, like I've done so much self-education, right, courses, you know, learning social media, learning about the operations of the fashion industry and things like that. And that's why, you know, now I know a lot, right? So and I'm continuously learning, right? So it doesn't stop. And I'm like, okay, book closed, I know everything now. And I can never learn from something with someone else, right? It's a continuous thing.
Exactly. You got to constantly evolve.
Right.
So your work, though, has been featured on TV, magazines, red carpets. So is there still a goal for where you want to see the Welthē brand represented?
Yes, more red carpets, more TV, more all of those things.
Just features isn't enough. Features isn't enough. We need more. I hear you there.
Yeah. So, you know, my one of my goals for next year is to see more people in Welthē NYC on the red carpets of these award shows. Yeah. And, you know, but really the base of my business is everyday people.
Yeah.
Right. And not only that, I am someone, again, right, someone who researches and analyzes things. And I know that a celebrity wearing the clothes doesn't necessarily drive business. No. Right. Exactly. It creates credibility, but it doesn't necessarily affect sales because, say, for instance, it is a football player. Right? When people watch football, they're watching it for football, right? They may watch the announcer, right? Or the person analyzing the game, and they may even say, wow, he looks sharp. Yeah. But they're not waiting until the end of the football game to look to see who designed the suit.
Exactly. And to be honest, you know, when I see a celebrity wearing something, it sort of seems unobtainable to me. I'm like, oh, I could never afford something like that. I can't afford to look that good. So I can see that being, you know, sort of a drawback for your clientele. But it's still, I think the credibility is great.
Right. But my strategy from the beginning was because at first people say, you know, you need to get that coat on, you know, a rapper, you need to get that coat on so-and-so. And I'm like, no, I don't. I need to get it on everyday people that pay.
Yeah,
that's what I need to, that's who I need to get it on.
The people that are buying it. Exactly.
Right. That's who I need to get it on. So my strategy from the beginning, it was forget about celebrities, right? Like, don't give them anything for free, right? Yeah. And build up the brand with everyday people to the point where the celebrities see it and be like, I want that.
Exactly.
And not only do they want it, but they'll buy it.
Exactly.
That's the key right there.
When you think about it, like a lot of these celebrities are with stylists who are like everyday people who are wearing and starting these trends. If you have stylists coming in and they're rocking these looks, then, you know. Right.
So that's the, you know, so that is why I am proud of, you know, seeing my stuff on TV or in magazines, or something like that, because I know my strategy, and it's like, most likely what you see on the person wasn't for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they respect the brand enough to actually have spent their celebrity money to get it, versus a stylist coming to ask me, oh, can I borrow this to put on this person, and you'll get some free publicity. Who cares? No, publicity don't pay no bills.
Exactly.
You know?
I love that. So that was great advice, but I want to know, what advice would you give someone who's looking to start their own business?
Definitely, my advice would be, let it be something that you are knowledgeable about and passionate about. Okay. Because that's why the Wealthy Guy works so well, is because I love it. Yes. I love it. With all my might. I love talking about men's suiting. I love talking about putting clothes together. I love teaching about those things. So it's very natural. And when people know, like, and trust you, the money follows. Yeah. You know, so my advice to anyone that's looking to start a business is, don't start something because you think this is the next big trend, or you know, people are going to be buying whatever it is next year. Start something based on what you know about. And what you love, because that is what's going to carry you through when the money's not carrying you through, you know?
You heard it from the Wealthy Guy. You heard it. No, I honestly, I haven't been able to purchase a Welthê suit myself, but I'm telling you, that's like a goal to me, because I admire you so much, and I think what you've done is so different than what I've seen. And it's so unique, and I think it's so powerful what you do, even though, like, you're not trying to be motivational, but you are. So honestly, you have a customer in me. Maybe not today, but someday tomorrow, Robert. I promise you that.
Oh yeah, and that is the beauty of it, and that's what I love about the social media aspect of it, because when clients walk through the door, or I get onto Zoom with them, they always say, I have been watching you for X amount of time, and I've been waiting for this day for me to be able to get something for myself. And I understand, right? And this is going to be another gem right here. I understand my market, and I understand what I'm selling. And what I mean by that is, you don't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to spend $1,000 on a suit just because you want one. Most times it has to be something special going on, right? You're getting married. It's a milestone birthday. You're going to an event. You're going to something where you want to look your best. So my clients aren't people who just wake up and are like, I want that suit, I'm buying it, right? It's based off of, I watch him. Oh, I'm getting married. Guess who I want to make my suit? The Wealthy Guy, right? Wow. So if you get enough of those people, right, to come constantly, then boom, you have a business.
That has to mean so much more to you, to hear that, you know, they've been supporting you in one way, and now they're like, this is like a milestone moment for them to go purchase one of your suits. Right.
So it makes me know that this is just not a business, right? Because we know businesses now have to have social impact. How are you helping people, right?
Exactly.
How are you helping?
Exactly.
How are you building community? It has to have a social aspect. It has to create some positive change, right?
Yeah.
In society. And I feel that the Wealthy Guy, I mean, I it's not only a feeling, I know this, right? Because people are always saying it to me. So it makes me feel good to know that this work affects people in that way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I don't feel like I'm just out here trying to sell something.
No.
I do feel like I'm out here selling something, but also building confidence, right? Getting someone that new job, helping them to get that new job.
Exactly.
Helping their, wife.
You're selling a legacy, sir. You're selling
100%.
a legacy. That's what you're doing. And honestly, I see it all the time. Every time you post something, it's someone new being pulled into that world. And honestly, I admire it so much. I'm a huge fan. So I appreciate you doing this. But lastly, Robert, I always end the show just giving my guests an opportunity to talk about any nonprofit organizations that you might be affiliated with or passionate about. Do you have any that you can suggest to our listeners?
So I'm big on doing every kind of end of the school year. I always do career days.
Okay.
I love going to high schools and like saying, hey, look at that, like look what I was able to do, and you can do it too. Yeah. I love that. I also donate suits. So a couple of organizations. I used to work with Career Gear, and that was a like return to work after being incarcerated and things like that. So I used to donate suits to them, and then I also donated some suits to a organization that helps high school students get ready for interviews and things like that. So there has to be that give back aspect to whatever it is that you're doing.
100.
Right? You can't just collect money, right? Like something has to like kind of go back out, whether it is knowledge, whether it's physical goods, something has to like go back out into the world for free.
Exactly. And I love that you would do like career day type stuff. I honestly I think you should take the Welthê brand on tour. You should be like one of those motivational speakers that go into the schools. You are so good at speaking, so powerful when you speak, Robert. You really well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But that is, again, right, that's a skill that has been built over years. Because I am a pretty introverted to myself person. Okay. Yeah. So it's like, but when I get around people and when I'm doing my thing and when I'm talking about what it's that on. Excitement, it just gets going.
Thank you so much, Robert. So just tell everyone where to find you and where they can find your pieces to bring out their inner wealthy guy.
Yes. So first place would be the website, which is WELTHENYC.com. So WELTHENYC.com. And then across social media. So Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, Snapchat, at the Wealthy Guy. So they're consistent across all of those platforms.
It's easy enough. That is easy enough. Thank you so much, Robert. Again, like this is an honor to have you on here. Like I said, you are leaving a legacy. I know like 50 years from now, we're going to be looking back and being like, wow, the Wealthy Guy, look at this brand. So,
right. And look at the, like he used to be dressing. But yeah, no, it to me, that is the most important aspect of it. Is like, what is my impact on the world? What am I leaving behind? That's more than, making a great salary at a bank, counting other people's money.
Yeah, no, you're leaving us looking good. That's what you're doing. Man.
Yes.
Thank you again to today's guest, the Wealthy Guy himself, Robert Pauley III. Be sure to follow him on social media at The Welthê Guy, that's WELTHE, and at The Welthē NYC to show your love and support. You can visit his website, www.welthenyc.com, or contact him via email info@weltheguy.com to inquire about his luxurious custom-made to measure suits, outerwear, and more. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Lifestyle of the Broken Creative podcast, and be sure to catch up on all our previous episodes. Happy holidays and have a safe and happy new year. See you in 2023. Spread peace, love, and happiness, and always be creatively you.